In modern day America, there is no longer a such thing as consequences for your actions. You can get away with just about anything and no one will even bat an eye. This is because of the individualistic mindset that so many people have. If it does not directly affect their materialistic goods, they just don't care. They'll let you get away with just about anything. Nobody cares about the impact on the greater community when the society starts to fall into a chaotic matter, right? When society starts to crumble, they just don't care because they still, they still have their car, they still have their house, they still have their television, they still have their junk food. They're so focused on themselves that they don't see the chaos going on around them. They're so focused on their own material goods, they don't notice the pain and struggles that their own lack of care puts onto everybody else. We are living today in a world where nobody thinks about how their actions are going to affect somebody else, how it's going to make somebody else's life harder. They don't think about how a lack of action, a lack of caring is going to make somebody else's life harder. That's the point we are today. Nobody cares about the community anymore. That's what we see in this story today. Lululemon has fired two, I believe, Atlanta employees for calling the police on a robbery. So, a little bit of backstory before I play you guys the video. According to the woman who filmed it, according to her husband, um, these two men, or maybe not two, this group of men had been coming into this store over the last couple weeks. They had done it at least 10 times, and they would come in, grab as much stuff as they could carry, walk back out, and leave because they knew that no action would be taken against them. They would come in with face coverings, that way, nothing would actually happen. They know that thanks to, the fund the police movement, all that good stuff, the police force couldn't actually do anything. They knew that the justice system would just let them go scot-free, even if the police did decide to take any form of action, and they knew the store just wouldn't do anything either. According to, again, the husband, he says that the policy at this Lululemon was they were not to interfere with the robbery. They were just to leave it alone, let them do their thing. For employee safety, it makes enough sense. And then also they were to not call the police just to avoid, the pain for the company. Because, it just takes more time. The company, Lululemon, obviously very wealthy company. They're doing fine. They don't really care if they lose a few things, the overall company anyways. And so it's more of a pain for them to have to go in and get in touch with the police and have to spend their time on that than it is to actually, just move on with their life. But after 10 times of this happening, instead of the women reporting it to the police as they weren't supposed to, they continued to report it to Lululemon. After this 11th time or whatever one this video is taking place in, they were just tired of it. They were at that point, it was like a safety issue. Like if the company was just going to continue to allow these robberies, they felt like they needed to take a stand for their own safety, or anybody could just walk in and do the same thing and potentially actually hurt somebody because of the company's unwillingness to involve the police in criminal activity. So that here, I'll show you the video and then I'll explain what happened afterwards.
No, no, no. You can march back out. You can march back out. No, you can march. No. No. Seriously. Get out. Get out. Get out. Video their car. They're about to zoom off. I know, but I don't want you.
All right, so that's the video. Obviously what they did, they confronted them, they told them to get out, and then afterwards they would call the police. Because of this, the police would get involved, and Lululemon would decide to fire the two women for taking a stand because reportedly they have a no tolerance policy on this. The criminals are not the ones being punished. It's the people actually taking a stand against the criminals. That's the point we are today. I guarantee, even if even though the police got involved, I can almost guarantee nothing happened to these criminals because this happened in Georgia. It happened in Atlanta, Georgia, I believe. Um, yep, Atlanta, Georgia. That's a shocker. Um, they don't care about crime. You can get away with just about anything, up to murder. It's whatever. It's the normal. So these guys were able to just walk away scot-free while this woman had her job ripped away from her. She had her entire livelihood ripped away from her. Why? Because her company was unwilling to take a stand, so she had to. I'm not saying that the company shouldn't have a right to fire her or whatever. That's fine, I guess. I mean, I disagree with the decision, but that's up to the company. But she didn't, it took her 10 times. She listened to the company policy over and over again, yet the company was never willing to take a stand, so she had to. And we live in a world where the victim is punished and not the criminal. That's the point we're at. This is the maximum form of victim blaming. It's an awful thing to do. It allows for these people who are just don't actually care about our society, don't care about it falling into chaos. It allows them to get away with whatever they want. It allows them to keep going at it and just take, right? They can take with no consequences because they don't care about the community. But as soon as the person actually steps up, everybody shames them. Why? Because it's not what they're willing to do. they they feel internally bad that they weren't willing to do that thing, so they go and they shame them and they attack the victim. We saw the same thing in, I believe it was the New York subway. I think it was New York, with the former Marine who goes and kills a violent druggie, right? He kills him not intentionally, but you know, I'm gonna be very careful with using even he even killed him because I doubt he even killed the man. But the man ends up dying while in a chokehold, or passes out at least, and dies at some point later. And now he's going to have to go to trial, and he went to jail, or yeah, he's gonna have to go to trial, and he has to deal with all that now. But he was the victim, and he stepped up to protect the people around him. This woman was a victim who stepped up to protect those around her. Yet the victims are the ones that get in trouble, while the violent criminals are allowed to walk away scot-free. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, share it. I greatly appreciate it. The only way we're going to take back this country is together. So yeah, join the fight. But I'm going to head out on that note. So yeah, so long. Peace out and God bless y'all.